just out of nowhere, you get this message that you have a GPA high enough that you could apply to Oxford. And I remember calling my parents and being like, I might go to Oxford next year.
I studied Spanish in education, and I traveled to Barcelona because I wanted to see where the language originated and also travel around different countries in Europe.
I went to Thailand to work with as many wild, crazy animals as I possibly could.
And there's nothing better than studying English literature in Oxford.
I chose to go to Morocco because I'm interested in learning about the Middle East.
The only way I could ever study abroad was giving up some of my obligations on campus, and the only way I would ever do that was with the prospect of studying PPE at Oxford.
What's PPE?
PPE, politics, philosophy, and economics.
I lived in the heart of Barcelona. It was called Urgell, and I was about 10 minutes away from our university. And to get around, I learned how to ride the metro, which I had no idea how to ride.
I took a total of 3 trains to get into Tokyo.
I actually joined a track club.
I was fortunate enough to join the rugby team, and we had a lot of success.
We actually joined the Pembroke College's rowing team, which is one of the best in the whole university. And yeah, we just rode.
Morocco in general was an amazing place, and we rode a camel, which was like my dream to ride the camel. But meeting the people and getting to interact with them and getting to live with a host family in Morocco, it was the biggest culture shock that I've ever experienced, but it was definitely the most worthwhile.
My host family was awesome. I couldn't have asked for a better pairing. The kids definitely made my experience just that much better.
We were in front of the Houses of Parliament. We're on the Thames. We can see the Eye, and then Big Ben is behind us. And it was the sight that everyone sees from the street, but we were in it. And we had our glasses of champagne, and we were dressed nicely, and we were talking to the Duke of Buckinghamshire. And
Right.
I think that was the day when the 7 of us really bonded, because we were like, we're actually here.
This is it.
And we were able to visit these things called Zawiya, which are from the Sufi section of Islam, which is their mystics, like their mystics. And that was really interesting to be able to witness, the way that they perform their faith.
So this is the Golden Pavilion. Was beautiful, and it's one of the oldest parts of Japan, and this was an area that I was actually fortunate enough to go with my family and visit. So it was just really heartfelt and very nice.
One week we'd just be talking about just basics of international trade, and then we'd be developing them in a country the next week. And just the fact that you have to forget what you did last week and move on. And I thought it was different from what we're doing at Wesleyan.
An island, and we got to go scuba diving, do some research.
History course, which was more focused on Japanese religions.
I was able to submit the class description or course description to the biology head, and he looked it over and was able to relate it to a environmental studies or biology course at Wesleyan, and then cross that off the list for one of my requirements.
Among the 6 courses that I took there, actually 5 of them were for my economics major, so all of them were transferred back to Wesleyan for credit, so I'm definitely will be able to graduate on time.
I will definitely be able to graduate on time, thank goodness. I don't think my dad would have it any other way.
Oh, yes, I will definitely graduate on time. That's definitely a plus.
The things I got to learn while I was there were lucky enough to kind of change my outlook and my career path.
Also, employers love to hear that you've studied.
It's always a good story.
The experience of me going to Japan and studying Japanese language, I felt really played a key role in me obtaining the internship because the company that I'm hired with now, they have a specified department for Japanese businesses in America.
Phase 1, they look at grades and your GRE score, and then they disregard that completely. So phase 2 is experience, letters of recommendation, all that stuff. And I really wanted something that would help me stick out. And so I think, if I had to guess, very few students would have experience abroad.
I had an employer ask me, okay, well, how well can you speak Japanese? And I was like, would you like to see? Would you like to have a conversation? And we had a conversation over the phone.
Trying to adjust and adapt yourself to these new societies, I feel is an important life skill.
It was my first time abroad. And how was it? It changed who I was.
It's amazing. I don't think we can argue against that. It gives you so much experience, and you come back I treat everything differently now as far as learning.
And that includes people from other cultures, from other places.
Makes you realize like how much is out there.
I would just 100% because you're so integrated, it's so much fun.
I know a lot of people say that they don't want to study abroad because they don't need it for their major, but I think regardless of what you want to do with your life, study abroad will impact you in some way or another. It just helps you grow as a person.
I believe 50% of our students do study abroad, and I think that's a great part of Wesleyan is we have over 300 programs. Like you can literally go anywhere, and that's awesome.